Welcome back, folks, to the random video blog where every single Thursday I, Graham G.S. Matthews, run down my rambling thoughts on the wrestling world, share a few stories, etc., etc. Now, I know I said last week here in the video blog that today's video would be Survivor Series themed, with Survivor Series this Sunday, which I am very much looking forward to. We got TakeOver Toronto on Saturday. We got NXT Boston tonight, which I will be in attendance for, hence why I'm wearing my glorious t-shirt. So you guys pretty much know at this point what I will be wearing to the show tonight. Spoiler alert. But that being said, I was thinking what we could do for Survivor Series, but there really wasn't much. I know last year, if you go back in the video blog and the playlist, if you go back far enough to last November, I did my top five favorite Survivor Series matches ever. And I can't really do favorite Survivor Series shows. I don't have like a top five. I was going to make the list last night. O2's up there, which I'm actually watching on my TV right now, or, while I'm in between filming this video, of course, which is a great show. 2008 I enjoyed, 2011 I enjoyed, but that was pretty much it. No other real installments stand out as my favorite. A lot of other good ones, but not a lot of favorite ones, so I didn't do that. But yeah, like I said, I will be at NXT tonight, so I thought, and I've had this in the can for a while, this idea for a while, to do another list of 5 more wrestlers I would love to see in NXT. So with NXT Boston tonight, NXT New York City yesterday, and TakeOver Toronto on Saturday, I figured there would be no more fitting time to discuss something NXT. I'm in the NXT mood right now, so I figured I would do something NXT related for today's video blog. So bit of a disclaimer here, a bit of a preface. So going back to January, I did a video blog ranking 5 guys from around the world of wrestling, from TNA, Ring of Honor, Japan, 5 guys that I would love to see in WWE/NXT. Today is another 5. So the original 5, I'm going to spoil it for you, but you can go back and check out the video. I think it was from the first few weeks of 2016, I believe. The list included AJ Styles, who is now here, Bobby Roode, who is now here, and Austin Aries, who is now here. You could kind of tell when I filmed this. This was in the first few weeks of 2016 before Aries and Styles debuted that Rumble weekend in WWE/NXT. The list also included, I believe, Adam Cole and Okada from Japan and Ring of Honor, respectively. So today, another 5 more guys I would love to see in WWE. Number 1 comes from Ring of Honor. One of, if not the greatest talent they have right now, who I think should have been in WWE a long time ago, Jay Lethal. One of the longest reigning world champions in that company's history. The longest reigning Ring of Honor world television champion in Ring of Honor history. I've been a Jay Lethal fan for a long, long time. Dating back, or not like since he debuted in wrestling, but rather since his TNA days, right around the time I first started watching TNA, when he was doing the Consequences Creed thing, or no, not Consequences Creed, Lethal Consequences with Consequences Creed in the tag team division at the onset of 2009. Loved that tag team, loved when he was doing Black Machismo, loved the feud with Ric Flair, and they didn't really know what to do with him beyond that. I think he was around in 2011, and if he was, I don't remember what the fuck he did. Then he jumped ship to Ring of Honor when TNA was not using him the way that they should have. So he went over to Ring of Honor, and he's been fucking killing it over there. I mean, Truth Martini isn't there anymore, but he was great with him in the House of Truth as world champion, TV champion, and so on and so forth. So it was really a kick-ass year for Jay Lethal, and it's been a great tenure for him over there for the past number of years. But he's really done it all. He's a great babyface. He's a great heel. He's an even better heel. So I think it is time to move on from Ring of Honor. From what I heard on his podcast he did with Jim Ross a couple months back, I think it was a couple months ago, it might have been a long time ago, he said he would definitely have an interest in going to WWE. And I did read a report at some point that WWE officials were interested in bringing him in. But of course, that was right after he won the World Championship. So of course, whenever somebody gets hot in the world of wrestling, like Conor McGregor won 2 titles this past Saturday at UFC 205, they said, we want Conor McGregor. That's kind of common sense. But I think Jay Lethal would, fare pretty well in WWE. I don't know if he'd be called up to the main roster immediately, like AJ Styles, but I think he deserves to be. He's been in wrestling long enough. He's established himself. He's a great character, wrestler, talker, awesome talker. So I would love to see him in WWE at some point. Number 2 on my list comes from the independent scene, a former TNA superstar, a former TNA world champion, who I've had the honor of interviewing. I met Jay Lethal, this guy. I've had the honor of interviewing I met Jay Lethal a couple months ago. I interviewed this guy about a year ago on Wrestle Rant Radio. Magnus, a.k.a. Nick Aldis, who is now on the English wrestling scene. I know he was in GFW, which isn't really a thing anymore. I guess they haven't filmed shows in a long-ass time, so I don't know what's up with GFW. But Magnus at one point, and technically still is, their top world champion in that promotion. Like I said, a former TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Again, another guy I've been a big fan of for a long time. He came into TNA in 2008, right after I started watching in August of that year. He went on to do some great stuff with British Invasion, with Samoa Joe, on his own, with Bram. I didn't really like the World Championship reign. I thought he was a great babyface, and then that kind of fucked up his momentum. But he was an awesome babyface back in 2012, had a pretty good run in 2013. Then he just kind of fell off the map. He's a great talker. He's got an awesome look, which is why I'm kind of shocked that I've heard no rumblings that WWE's been interested in him, at all, or before. Maybe they were when he left TNA. He left TNA about a year and a half ago. But I think he'd be a great fit over in NXT. The guy's a fucking star. He's young, too. He might be in his late 20s, if not his early 30s. I'm not exactly sure. But he is still relatively young. He's not an amazing wrestler, but he is pretty good. And like I said, he's very well-spoken, a lot like Adam Cole in that way. And another guy I could see representing the WWE NXT brand at some point. So coming in at number 3, a fellow Brit on the wrestling scene, Zack Sabre Jr., who previously competed in the Cruiserweight Classic a few months back. Another really, really, really good wrestler. One of, if not the best technical wrestler in the world today. So I was stoked to see him in the Cruiserweight Classic. I know JJF, Jared Jackson Ferrans, I know he introduced me to Zack Sabre Jr., not personally, obviously, but introduced me to his work at the onset of 2016, writing an article about him for nextairwrestling.net. Check it out, cheap plug. And from that point forward, I've been really impressed with his work. Like I said, I really enjoyed his stuff in the Cruiserweight Classic. Would have loved to have seen him win it all had he been signed to the company, hence why he did not make it even to the finals, because he's not currently signed to NXT. I think he's still doing his thing. He's currently doing his thing in Evolve. But hopefully, I would hope that his goal at some point is to make it back to NXT, because he could have gone, and they offered him a contract. He said no. I respect that. I guess he wants to accomplish other things first, but he's also relatively young, a lot like Magnus. So he's got his whole career ahead of him. But he's another guy, for as good of a wrestler as he is, would be an awesome fit in NXT. Coming in at number 4 comes from TNA, a guy that I've only really started to become a fan of this past year. He's been around for quite a while, you'd be surprised. Eli Drake. And anyone who watches TNA now, which I know is not a lot of you, the TV product has gotten a lot better this year. I will say that. The behind-the-scenes stuff is still a fucking mess. But with Billy Corgan, the lawsuits, all that other shit. But the TV product has been really, really, really good. And that being said, Eli Drake, in my opinion, has been one of the shining stars of that program throughout 2016. Could not have given two shits about him when he was a part of The Rising, I think that group was, with Micah and Drew Galloway. That group was a fucking waste of time. He was never really he was in NXT at one point, but he never made it to TV. Over there, I think his name was Slate Randall, or Sean Ricker, I think is his real name. Slate Randall, I think, was the name he used in NXT when he wasn't on TV when he was just primarily working dark matches. But again, a lot like Magnus, a lot like all these other guys, he's got the look. He's a fucking great talker. He's really entertaining. Dummy, yeah, dummy, yeah, dummy, yeah. Pressing the fucking button. He's great. I know he, just recently fell short of winning the TNA World Championship on an episode of TNA last week. But I would hope that sky's the limit in terms of this guy for his potential, because he is really fucking good. And I know he was in NXT at one point, and I guess his behavior on social media, speaking out maybe against the company, I'm not exactly sure what did it, but he was fired from the organization in the summer of 2014. And I know I'm not the only one who's high on the guy. I'm not talking about fans, but I've heard wrestlers go on the record and say that guy is really, really, really good. And they don't understand why he got fired. So again, it might have been social media stuff. I know he went on social media in the spring of 2015 to make fun of Kevin Owens right after he won the NXT Championship, calling him the State Puffed Marshmallow Man or whatever the fuck that was about. And a lot of people didn't like him after that. But as an on-air character, he's really fucking good. And another guy who I think is still pretty young. So if they ever wanted to give him a second look, if and when TNA goes under, I hate to say it, but maybe at some point down the road, I would love to see Eli Drake back in NXT. The number 5, the fifth and final guy on my list of 5 wrestlers I would love to see in WWE/NXT is Kota Ibushi, another guy a lot like Zack Sabre Jr., who competed in the Cruiserweight Classic a few months back and stole the show, along with Cedric Alexander, along with Brian Kendrick, all those other guys. I thought Kota Ibushi was one of the shining stars of that entire show, which is not hard to see why. I've seen his work before. He's really fucking good, one of the best wrestlers they have over in Japan right now. Having amazing matches throughout the tournament. I think with Kendrick, with Cedric, with I think Sean Maluda in the first run of the debut episode of the show, in a really, really good match. I think the semifinals of the tournament against TJ Perkins, and then the two teamed up in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic a few weeks ago rather, and made a pretty good team. Another guy a lot like Zack Sabre Jr., who I mentioned before, turned down a contract from WWE. hence why he did not win the Cruiserweight Classic, hence why he did not even bother making it to the finals, because he was not yet signed to the organization. So hopefully at some point, I don't know if I think Zach's overall goal is to make it WWE at some point. There's other things he wants to do first. Kota Ibushi, I don't know if he said he wants to go to WWE down the road, but he doesn't want to go there right now, or if he flat out said, I don't want to be signed to them. I'm not exactly sure what the case is, but either way, the guy is really, really good, and I hope WWE throws as much money towards him as they can. He's worth it. He's well worth the investment. He's really, really freaking good in the ring, and you could obviously see that throughout the Cruiserweight Classic, on his few matches on NXT. The guy's a star. And I know there's not a lot of guys. I mean, Shinsuke Nakamura is really the obvious exception. And Hideo Itami and Asuka in the past, I know WWE's kind of, fucked over their Japanese talent and not really giving them a fair shake. I look at, what's his name? I forgot the guy who teamed with Rene Dupree many years ago. Completely forgot that guy's name, or couldn't even tell you what his name was. I know Yoshitatsu's another guy. Tajiri was a different kind of case. He was entertaining, but he never really got above a certain level. So they've never really given their Japanese talent a fair shake. But if Kota Ibushi came to NXT / the WWE, he could be a star in no time. So once again, guys, my top 5 wrestlers I would love to see in WWE and NXT once again include Jay Lethal, number 2, Magnus / Nick Aldis, number 3, Zack Sabre Jr., 4, Eli Drake, and 5, Kota Ibushi. So what wrestlers would you love to see in NXT / WWE? Either immediately, at some point. I know everyone's obviously Eli Drake's is signed to TNA, Lethal's signed to Ring of Honor, and so on and so forth. But if they were free agents, would you pick those guys up? Who else would you pick up? Who did I neglect to leave off? Like I said, I've already mentioned Okada and Adam Cole before in my previous video that I did at the onset of 2016. So just kind of a disclaimer there before people write, oh, you forgot to include Adam Cole or Okada. I did them at the start of the video. At the start of this video and the start of the other video I did back in January. So all that being said, guys, the world of wrestling's looking bright. So there's a lot of great wrestlers coming into all these different promotions. I'm really enjoying wrestling right now. WWE, even TNA, Ring of Honor, the Independents, the Lucha Underground's killing it right now. I think Pentagon Jr. is another guy I would love to see in WWE / NXT. Did not put him on the list here for whatever reason. I was not even thinking about Lucha. Prince Puma's another guy. So a lot of honorable mentions, but yeah, so would love to know who you guys would love to see in NXT / WWE in the comment section down below. You can tweet me on the Twitter machine at WrestleRant. You can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/graham.jason.matthews. And that's it, guys. We are quickly approaching that 1,000 subscriber mark. A little under, I believe, 20 subscribers to go. So keep spreading the word about the channel, guys. Spread the word about the channel. Get people to subscribe, like, comment, share the videos. All that stuff helps tremendously. So that being said, guys, have an amazing weekend. Enjoyed NXT TakeOver Toronto on Saturday, Survivor Series on Sunday, and just everything else the world of wrestling has to offer right now. I'm Graham Jason Matthews. We'll be back next Thursday with a Thanksgiving-themed video. Enjoy the holiday, guys, and I'll catch you folks down the road.